hooray for Hollywood. That's gooey bally-hooly Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking pan. And any shop girl can be
Welcome to the Scariest Things podcast, your gateway to the trends and tropes of the horror genre. It's that time again for the Thingy Awards, the 2024 Thingy Awards. I'm your host, Eric Lee, and I am joined with, in Portland,
Mike Campbell,
and in New Orleans,
Liz Williams.
And this year we have, there are certain flavors and trends that I think we can point to.
Flavors and trends. Let's hear them.
Mike,
tell me what
flavor of horror?
Yeah, what was the flavor?
The flavor is possession.
Oh, possession. Sure.
Talk to Me.
Right.
Exorcist Believer.
Yep. I was going to say post-pandemic, pre-writer's strike,
Yep.
upswing.
This is a bit of a sweet spot, actually.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
We had some Talk to Me, When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
This was a great
Late Night with the
year.
Devil.
There's all possession films.
I said this. I said this when we did our end of year wrap up. It was the best year of horror, and it was the worst year of horror for
There were
me.
some really awful ones, and we'll get have.
Oh, we'll get there.
Although one of our I'll do some shout outs here, but one of our industry contacts, Ted Gagan,
Industry contact.
Mm-hmm.
Industry in the biz.
Director, PR man, all around
Filmmaker extraordinaire.
Quizmaster.
Yeah.
Quizmaster, funny guy, encyclopedic knowledge of horror. It's got it all. It's got it all in spades.
That's true.
Yes, indeed. And Ted
Eric's
voted.
choking
Ted
it up.
voted,
Sorry,
yeah.
people.
Ted commented that he didn't feel good about voting for the worst movie of the year. He goes, I don't want to be cruel. And it's like,
Well,
you don't have to vote. And it's like, but he's an industry
Leave
guy.
that to us.
He's a
PR
filmmaker,
guy.
yeah.
And so-
That's our job to call out your ugly baby.
So we'll shit on
Sorry,
him for you.
your baby is ugly.
Not Ted's. I've seen pictures of that baby. It's very cute.
Yeah, and actually,
Ted has a perfectly beautiful baby.
Ted missed out on Overlook this year because he had daddy duty.
There are some ugly babies kicking around out there, though. And it is our job to call them out.
and we will. So wanted to just say a thank you to some of our other industry luminaries. Chris McEnroy, who every year delivers a fantastic horror short. Mm-hmm. Once again, he's been nominated for his horror short again. Last year for this Thingy Awards, it's Guts.
Yeah. Just rewatched it last week.
I have Nick.
And it is pure brilliant comedic timing. I don't want to stuff the ballot box, but that is brilliant comedic timing more than anything.
Right. And I think what I would do is if you aren't familiar with his work, go to our site because we have all. If you search for the best horror shorts of 2023. Mm-hmm. All of the nominated films are available for you to watch. Yep. And so this year there wasn't as strong an excuse of clicking the box of I haven't seen any of the short films, because that's one of the tricky things with doing these awards is that not everybody's seen everything that's out there, particularly the short films, except for those of us who do a lot of film festivals. Right. This time we've helped you out by saying, watch these. Which one do you like?
Yeah.
So this is, it's funny. We do the award ceremony a good month and a half after the Oscars are done, but it does allow us to get all those short films get posted to Alter. So there you go.
Yeah.
Other notable folks, Nick Kozakis, the director from Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism, another possession film, of which his film is up for a few nominations. Dennis Paoli, who is the screenwriter for Suitable Flesh, one of the Lovecraftian cosmic films that we have that's also been nominated. A new contact, Sarah Tice, who just did a movie, Did I, that played at the Portland Horror Film Festival. Had
its world premiere at the Portland Horror Film Festival in June of 2024.
And it won. It won the Best in Festival. So
good looking film made on a
minuscule budget,
shoestring budget, $10,000.
Yep.
How they did it, I don't even know.
So Sarah's not up this year, maybe next year.
Yep.
Anthony Cousins, who did Frogman, which is Return My Faith to Shaky Cam Horror. So he's voting in this. And our old friend Michael Lovin, who doesn't have anything up this year, but he likes to participate in the voting. He did Murderberry Win, one of my favorite films from a few years back. Silly murder comedy. Anyway, so a thank you to everybody out there and to some of our podcasting friends who joined us. We had the Jersey Ghouls.
Yes.
And we had the Straight Chillin' folks. And some new friends I met at Crypticon, the I Love Horror crew. So it's part of a community. We had a great turnout. We had a lot more people who were just coming in from our website. So our fans, we had more fans than we've had in a very long time.
Yes, indeed.
So a big thank you to everybody who participated. And with that,
we're getting into it.
Roll out the red carpet.
Let's roll
All right.
The podium.
All right, here we go.
And
here
so
we go.
In a tradition like the actual Oscars, we will have the male podcaster introduce the best actress. Mike.
I do identify as he, him, and starting off this year's Thingy Awards is the best female actress. And unlike many years past, there's no clear frontrunner for Best Actress in Horror leading role. This is a wide open race in 2024. Here's your candidates. Leia DeLeon Hayes as Vicaria in The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Caitlin Dever as Bryn in No One Will Save You. Dominique Fishback as Dre in Swarm. Heather Graham as Dr. Elizabeth Derby in Suitable Flesh. Carla Gugino in as Verna in The Fall of the House of the Usher. Kathleen Kenny as Charlie in Sorry Charlie. We have Bella Ramsey as Ellie Williams in The Last of Us. Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie in another Ellie, two Ellies. Double Ellie in Evil Dead Rise. Sophie Wilde as Mia in Talk to Me. And Jordan Cowan as the Visitor in You'll Never Find Me. And Eric, what was the best actress of the year?
It was actually a pretty strong lead. This is Sophie Wilde, who played Mia in Talk to Me. This was a star
totally
turn.
Legit.
Yep,
totally legit.
And the emotional ringer that she gets put through and she puts the audience through is astounding.
Who did you vote for?
Yeah,
I voted for Sophie Wilde.
Okay, who did you vote for, Liz?
I can't remember if I did Sophie Wilde or Dominique Fishback.
I voted for Dominique Fishback. Her role as Dre in Swarm.
Yeah.
I remember when you said, go watch Swarm. It's mind-blowing, and it truly is a mind-blowing series. And that was the first time I think I had actually put a TV series on the top 10 of the year because Swarm is pure brilliance. Yeah. Pure brilliance and shocking.
When we get to our TV category, we had another one. That was a Sophie's choice.
We've had yet another great year for horror television.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed.
This is we're going to need to rename it the Liz Williams Award.
There you go.
Because Liz will watch all of this.
Not Memorial Award, just Liz Williams. All right.
Not yet.
All right. In memoriams.
All right. Over to you, Liz. Over to you.
All right. So now I get to present the best actor in a leading horror role. And these actors anchored their films in 2023. It was a good year for famous actors in horror cinema, which meant it was also a good year for the big studio features. But foreign films also produced some fantastic performances in movies that proved to be both critically and commercially successful. So here are our nominees. Dave Bautista as Leonard in A Knock at the Cabin. Nicolas Cage as Count Dracula in Renfield. Russell Crowe as Father Gabriel Amorth in The Pope's Exorcist, riding in on his Vespa. David Dastmalchian as Jack Delroy in Late Night with the Devil. Bruce Greenwood as Roderick Usher in The Fall of the House of Usher. Runosuke Kamaki as Koichi Shikamiya in Godzilla -1. I am sorry, Japan.
The whole country, sorry.
Pedro Pascal as Joel Miller in The Last of Us. Ezekiel Rodriguez as Pedro in When Evil Lurks. Jamie Vadell as El Conde in El Conde, and Brendan Rock as Patrick in You'll Never Find Me. Eric, the envelope, please. Who is our winner?
It's our old friend David Dastmalchian for his role as Jack Delroy. He garnered 38% of the votes.
Ooh, solid.
Far and away. This was, and I think this also when we were actually doing the polling, Late Night with the Devil had recently arrived on
that's right.
on streaming services.
Yep, came out on May 9th.
Yeah, and so we had a good month and a half of
ballot stuff and
tabulating, right?
You said tabulating. I said stuffing.
Right.
Yeah.
You can still only vote once, but you can get all of your friends to vote.
There you go.
It'll be interesting to see the effects because I know that between because we got the Frogman contingent potentially this year. We have I think the Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism, a number of those contacts of Nick's cast and crew actually participate in the voting.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for David.
All right.
So this is I'm playing. This is.
I was a tough one.
Yeah, I think I voted for David.
It was going to be that. I ended up voting for Ezekiel Rodriguez in When Evil Lurks because that film blew my mind. But it was tough. If I didn't vote for him, it would have definitely been David Dastmalchian.
Yeah, I think that for David, Jack Delroy goes through this wild story arc.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yep.
It is wholly believable, and he channels Dick Cavett, right. He really and that
Dick
kind of
Cavett, Merle Griffin, Mike Douglas, Johnny Carson,
all those 70s, but that's the archetypal 70s talk show host, and he was so smooth, but then when he would break out of character when it's behind the scenes, that was equally fun, right? So it was also the first time he got to be first on the call sheet. I mean, in a sizable picture.
Yep.
So this is a great moment for him. It was the year of David.
The thing that's funny too is the only one that the Academy recognized was El Conde.
Well, Godzilla -1.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Godzilla -1 and El Conde. Yep. All right. Coming back to the stage for the Best Actress in a Supporting Horror Movie Role. This is obviously supporting actresses oftentimes get some really great roles. No surprise there. Roles where actresses can just unleash their inner method. Villains and colorful companions are often the domain of the supporting actress, and we got some great ones this year. The nominees are Awkwafina as Rebecca in Renfield, Barbara Crampton as Daniela Upton in Suitable Flesh, Kristen Cui as Wen in Knock at the Cabin, Amy Donald as Megan in Megan, Nell Fisher as Cassie in Evil Dead, Minami Hamabe as Noriko Oishi in Godzilla -1. We have Margot Martindale as Ranger Liz in Cocaine Bear, and Ingrid Torelli as Lily in Late Night with the Devil. Eric, who won this year's Best Supporting Actress?
This was a close one.
Ooh.
This was there was not as much separating, and this almost all the actresses got some votes. I think actually all of them did.
Oh, okay.
So the winner is Ingrid Torelli as Lily in Late Night with the Devil.
All right, that's who I voted for.
Yep,
that was who I voted for. She's creepy. She is super creepy. I think what she brought to the role was very different than a lot of possession type stuff, where she was able to flop back and forth between being fully immersed in possession and not possessed.
Right.
And that made the role all the more shocking.
Who did you vote for, Liz?
Probably Barbara Crampton. I voted on the first day, so I don't remember. But I also love Margot Martindale, that character. I adore her, and that just deadpan. It's perfect part for her.
I had Margot Martindale. I thought she was so much fun as the lovelorn ranger.
Right.
And just kind of overwhelmed by the whole Cocaine Bear thing.
Yeah.
This was a tight race. There was no, and I knew going into this one because there were a bunch of kids. There were three kids in this one.
Oh, we'll get there in a second.
And so we're gonna have more of them because we have as Mike says, we'll get there in a second.
Pump those brakes.
Is the Best actor in a supporting role. Are you looking for comic relief, an antagonist, a foil, the best friend who tells it like it is? Look no further than the best supporting actor. These often scene-chewing performances leave a lasting impression after the film is done, even if the character was not the central figure of the film. These guys flesh out the movie and are extra flavor needed to make the story work. And our favorite supporting actors from 2023 are Liam Cunningham as Captain Elliot in The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Nick Offerman as Bill in The Last of Us, Tim Pocock as Pastor Daniel in Godless, The Eastfield Exorcism, Judah Lewis as Asa White in Suitable Flesh, Larry Fessenden as Lieutenant Colonel Clive Hochstadter in Brooklyn 45, David Dastmalchian as Lester Billings in The Boogeyman, Carl Laemmle as Auguste Dupin in The Fall of the House of Usher, and Mark Hamill as Arthur Pym in The Fall of the House of Usher. Eric, who is our best supporting actor?
Well, this was reasonably close. It's a battle between two of the TV actors this year, and the winner is Nick Offerman as Bill in The Last of Us.
Ooh,
Which is
an upset.
Yeah, I think Mark Hamill probably he is the biggest name in this group, and Hamill was I think wonderful playing a very unique Arthur Pym in House of Usher. But if anybody who watched The Last of Us, Nick Offerman was astounding as a.
Is that who you voted for? Did you vote for Nick Offerman?
I did.
All right. Who did you vote for, Liz?
Mark Hamill.
Oh.
I would watch the entire series based on that character.
Yeah.
Mike Flanagan, if you're listening, I know you're leaving Netflix, but
Thank you for all you did on
Homie.
Netflix. It was
Yeah.
great.
This is
See,
where I
he's
voted
on
for David.
Prime.
This is where I voted for David Dastmalchian as Lester Billings in Boogeyman because I love Boogeyman.
Right. No, that was
Loved Boogeyman.
he was
great.
totally creepy. I thought,
It was a short role too.
right, because
And in fact, in the book or the short story, it's all about Lester Billings. It's just that encounter between Lester Billings and the psychiatrist. That's the whole.
really?
That's the whole short story. Yeah, yeah,
now I'm intrigued.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
good one. It's like I want to say it's like 12 pages or something like that.
right, and
Yeah.
so they turned it into an hour and a half movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they did a good job with it.
I thought it was-
that part. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
All right.
that was I think David had several movies. He was in 3 major horror movies as well as a little movie called Oppenheimer.
That's right.
So he
Yeah.
had a very good year.
Yep. All right. Coming back to the stage for the Fay Ray Award for those of you under 80 years old.
Hey Ray, famously.
Hey, you're never too old to break out.
You don't have to be a youngster to be a breakout rising star, but it helps. In 2023, we had lots of kids emerging, as we just mentioned. These are the actors who deserve to reap the rewards of bigger and better jobs due to their great performances in 2023. We had Kristen Cui in Knock at the Cabin, Amy Donald as Megan in Megan, Leia DeLeon Hayes as Vicaria in The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, Sophie Wilde as Mia in Talk to Me, Woody Norman as Peter in Cobweb, and Toby in The Last Demeter.
Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Last Voyage of the Demeter. Kathleen Kenny as Charlie in Sorry Charlie. Nell Fisher as Cassie in Evil Dead Rise. And Dominique Fishback as Dre in Swarm. Eric, who was the Fay Ray Award winner.
Not even close. This is
Whoa.
Sophie Wilde again.
Woo!
Wow. All right.
Yeah, because if there is anybody who last year put themselves into who earned shots at bigger movie roles,
Yeah.
it's Sophie Wilde.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I do. It is fun to watch the kids who all did great jobs. Just because we have Nell Fisher, Woody Norman, Amy Donald, Kristen Cui, And really, even Layla DeLeon Hayes is not that old. And
she's
16 or 17 years old. But some of these
no, she's like early 20s.
Oh, is she?
But yeah, and then Dominique Fishback again as Dre in Swarm.
Yep.
She was incredible as well.
I think I voted for her.
I think I voted for Leia DeLeon Hayes because she really carried that whole angry black girl and the monster herself.
Yeah, I did
single-handedly.
I think I did Woody Norman.
Okay.
I really liked him in Cobweb.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a cool movie.
Yep.
But now, sticking with the youth, we're going to the Gateway Award, which is our best horror film for young or new or just scaredy cat horror fans.
Right. You need the soft entry.
A little soft entry because we all have to start somewhere, and these nominees are your on-ramp to the horror genre. They're not as gory or viscerally intense as much of horror movies, but they bring some scares and a lot of fun to the proceedings. These films are mostly kid-friendly, but would also be applicable, as we said, for the scaredy cat adults. And honestly, this year there was not a lot of kids' fare, but here are some low-impact horror movies for the newbies. Our nominees are Megan, Godzilla -1, It Lives Inside, Renfield, The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, A Haunting in Venice, The Boogeyman, and The Last of Us. Eric, who should our newbies and scaredy cats be looking to?
This one goes to Megan, which was one of the surprise movies from last year. I had no expectations for this. In fact, I think I had dismissed this movie as a Child's Play ripoff at first. This is superior to Child's Play.
So good.
For me.
No way. And in fact,
100%.
I had expectations going into it because you guys talked it up. I have not made it through. I've tried 3 times, and each time I go, yeah, this is not for me.
So
no thank you, Megan.
Mike is rolling up the red carpet and taking it home.
Take my carpet and stop playing with you. I loved Megan. I thought it was exactly what it was. January. We're like, this is going to be stupid.
Yeah.
Boy, was it fun.
Yeah.
It is. I will say it is a great. It is a great gateway film. I mean, all these are save for maybe It Lives Inside and The Boogeyman. Those have some intensity to it that. Like you don't want to be,
no real gore.
Yeah, you don't want to be showing that to like a 6-year-old.
No, I think those are for teenagers.
Renfield
has more gore.
Yeah, more in the 13, 14-year-old range,
right?
For sure.
And I think for Megan, I think it is an introduction to some contemporary AI horror, which that's a real thing that scares all of Hollywood apparently, because that's why we had a writer's strike last year. So next, Mike.
We have the Abbott and Costello Award for those of you under 70 years old. This is the best use of horror in a horror film. Horror and comedy.
Comedy in a horror film.
Yes. What did I say? Horror
the best use of horror in a horror film.
Yeah.
Horror in a horror film. No, not horror in a horror film. Comedy in a horror film. Horror and comedy, peanut butter and jelly, humor and glee, dread and terror. When it doesn't work, it's almost palpably painful, like me reading this script. But when it works, it's pure gold. So here were our favorite horror comedies from 2023. Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Evil, Renfield, Hundreds of Beavers, Cocaine Bear, Totally Killer, The Blackening, and El Conde. Eric, who was the best winner of comedy in a horror movie.
I like how we are as prone to blowing cue cards as the actual Oscars. The winner this year was a film that Liz and I caught the world premiere, and that is Renfield.
Woo!
Super silly, underappreciated, underseen.
Very funny.
It has so many good jokes in it, and Nicolas Cage in his natural environment. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was great to see in the big theater.
And I mean, I think I will say I think Awkwafina carried a lot of the film. I really do.
Yeah. She was definitely she was a connective tissue character too.
And she's a great comedic talent.
Right. I think all 3 of the leads, Nicholas Hoult also. They each brought a different kind of a wrinkle.
Now, did you voted for Renfield?
I voted for Hundreds of Beavers.
Oh, who did you vote for, Liz?
I voted for Totally Killer, but
Okay.
I easily could have also voted for Renfield or Onyx of Fortuitous.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought they were all just so much fun.
There were
but Totally Killer just that was made for me.
What
That
about you,
beats
Mike?
I was
Need It.
Cocaine Bear guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Cocaine Bear, super
Okay.
funny.
Yeah.
Super funny. And Ray Liotta's last film. Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Ray
rest
Liotta.
in peace. Ray
Less
Liotta.
funny that part.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny. All right. Moving on.
All right.
Moving on.
I get to present the nominees for the best horror movie poster of the year. This is one of my favorite categories that we do because the art of the movie poster is not dead, and horror films have always had some of the best movie posters. In an era where movie marketers want to pitch headshots of the big stars, horror movies rely on story and feels of the film to draw you to them, and these posters are no exception. Our nominees are Cobweb, El Conde, Frogman, Godless the Eastfield Exorcism, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Minore, No One Will Save You, Saw X, Sister Death, and, in a vintage style, A Suitable Flesh. You can see all of these over on our website if you hadn't voted. Eric, who's our winner?
Our winner is, and actually we had, the votes are all over the place on this one, but with 20% of the vote, Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism.
Ooh, interesting.
Congratulations to Nick Kazakis and your art director. This was, I think that it is a really cool poster. It's a bunch of upside down crosses surrounding our would-be possessed woman who's actually just having some psychological difficulties. There are some great posters this year. I mean, as always, Mike. This also could be called the Mike Campbell Award.
Yeah, the Mike Campbell Award.
Because Mike does love him some posters.
I sure do.
He did a post at the end of the year, which has most, if not all, of the. It has all of the nominees here, and then some.
Yep.
There were some that we
For sure.
that deserve a look-see.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
They're again, horror gives you some really fun options for movie posters that, as opposed to just headshots, right?
Right.
Because which is, if you're a big enough movie star, you demand a headshot.
Yep.
In horror movies, particularly the indie ones, you're not a big enough star to get a headshot. Nobody knows who you are.
It's true. And it is a dead and dying art form, and it's always nice to see that horror leans into this dead and dying art form.
Yeah, go check out Mondo posters. If you are a movie poster fan, they take great movies that had bad posters and give them great posters.
Yeah.
Give them what they deserve.
That's right.
All right. Speaking of great looking stuff, this is the best horror movie cinematography,
Nice
often
segue.
known for cheap production values. The genre is capable of showing off the beauty of the scary. And when horror brings cinematography to the table, the experience is even more powerful. These are the best cinematography films. The films with the best cinematography in 2023. El Conde, No One Will Save You, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Evil Dead Rise, A Haunting in Venice, Exorcist Believer, Knock at the Cabin, and Brooklyn 45. I'm super curious to hear who won, Eric. Who was it?
It's the film that actually was nominated for an Oscar in this category. This is El Conde.
Yeah.
Oh man, is this a good-looking movie?
Sure
it
is.
And sometimes it's like they're playing in black and white, so it ain't a fair fight.
Right.
That's true.
But the director and cinematographer, who I can't drag up the name at the moment, had some. Just even the stills are breathtaking.
Yeah.
That what they achieved. For a little Chilean horror movie to get nominated through the Academy of Arts and Sciences.
It's crazy too to think
motion pictures,
that
actually.
the story is so bonkers as well. The idea that Augusto Pinochet, the famed dictator, was a vampire, and that he had a secret affair with Margaret Thatcher is just. Was also a vampire, which I mean the whole story is completely bonkers, but the way it plays out is, I think, incredible. I saw this the night before we recorded the best films of 2023.
And you had to punt something out to get.
I had to punt something out to bring it in because it was so well done.
Yeah.
I am super curious to see what they do next.
Yeah, this is a case where I love that something from our genre gets wide recognition from the indie side.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't a Jordan Peele. This is not.
Right.
This is not someone with a known background beating. I mean, it was a great year for cinematography in general, and for this thing to squeeze in there.
Oh, and I'm promoting a vampire movie too. So yeah, there you go. There you go.
Who would have thunk?
Yeah. So
2023 is one for the record books.
Liz, what did you vote for?
I do not remember. Not El Conde because I didn't see it. I can't remember which one I voted for.
I did El Conde.
Yeah.
It was once you see it, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I think if more people had seen El Conde, it probably would have dominated the field in this case.
Yeah.
So, all right, next.
Let's move on to the Harryhausen Award for the Best Visual Effects of 2023. And the visual effects is where cinema's magic is celebrated. And sometimes it's excuse me. All right. Digital wizardry is at the forefront this year. And we have an Oscar winner in the mix for the 2024 Thingy Awards. Godzilla -1 may be the favorite, but don't let that dissuade you from selecting one of these others as the best. We've got crazy puppetry from Onyx the Fortuitous and a believable cocaine bear and a wonderfully remixed universal blend of Renfield over Dracula. And here are this year's offerings. Godzilla -1, Cocaine Bear, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Onyx the Fortuitous, and The Talisman of Evil, Minore, Renfield, Megan, and probably the only place you're going to see this film nominated, The Meg.
You'll see it again
at the Razzies, probably.
Yeah, we've got a Depends Award that's coming up. This one, not even close. This is Godzilla -1 by a Godzilla-sized margin. This is the Oscar winning.
I still haven't seen Godzilla -1. I voted for it anyway because it had already won the Academy Award, and I didn't want to look dumb, so I was just like, I'm voting for that one. Calling it good.
I think it's on Netflix.
It did. It popped up last week on Netflix.
Yes. So you and Hank.
So I will definitely be watching it.
It is it.
Because we crapped out on the Apple Godzilla series because it got too long, too convoluted. Too convoluted, too much talking.
Yeah, no, this is
not enough stomping.
Well, okay.
Not enough Godzilla.
To be honest, Godzilla -1 is a human character-driven story, but it is worth it. The story, when Godzilla does show up, and this is how they actually maximize their budget. When they did bring Godzilla in, he was amazing, and the kinds of when they the ships at sea also amazing. They did it on a $18 million budget, I think, and it looked like a $200 million budget.
$18 million.
Yeah.
Woo.
So
that's incredible. I wonder what the budget for Godzilla vs. King Kong: The New Empire was.
$160 million or something like that.
Yeah. I gave that 2 stars. I could easily go to 1.
Hey, just because you get the money and the budget doesn't mean it's going to be a good movie.
But
that's going on worst of the year 2024. It's a guaranteed.
There are different flavors of Godzilla, and one is, this one it threaded the needle between satisfying monster movie fans and actually giving a real modern protagonist forward story.
Yep.
So anyways, not a surprise.
All right. Speaking of stories, a critical part of stories is the sound, including special effects, mixing, soundtrack. Sound plays such an important role of horror movies, from the snap of a branch to the nape of a neck, to the nape of a neck, the snap of a neck.
Nape.
I think it's snap
of the neck.
Snap, not nape. No, snap. Yep. Snap. To the snap of a neck.
Who wrote these promo cards?
Who wrote this? These are the best sounding movies from 2023. Cobweb, El Conde, Evil Dead Rise, Godzilla -1, Last Voyage of the Demeter, Minore, Renfield, and When Evil Lurks. Eric, the winner is...
Surprising, Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, that's what I voted for.
Yeah.
Just because I voted for Evil Dead Rise just because of the first 5-ish minutes of the film, which I still
That's cold open.
I think it is. I really do. And the sounds that they used in that first 5 minutes were just shocking.
I think the other
So
thing
shocking.
with Evil Dead Rise, there
Glass.
there was
Yeah,
glass.
glass.
The gore effects were spot on relative to both the sound mix and the visual expression of it.
Yep.
But Alyssa Sutherland's voice as Evil Mommy they ran it through some great filters, and she that I think her voice helped seal that character as, you know, all the performance. She's a wild looking woman too. I mean, she's like where her beauty actually, you just take her a slight twist to her, and she's freaky looking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Indeed.
In this one, I voted for When Evil Lurks because of just the squelching and the
very squishy.
It was squishy. There was a lot of squishy noises.
I know. It's like the first time
give me the chills.
I've ever heard pus.
Hopefully the last time.
Yeah.
Pus actually makes a sound, apparently.
a bloated, cadaverous man in a bed. You could hear the pus seeping through the bed. It was just
even thinking about it, I'm like, no. Gross.
Yucky. Okay, Liz.
Gross. All right. Now I get to introduce the nominees for the best international and non-English language horror film. And we get to know other cultures by what scares them the most. It's the most fun you can have learning about another culture and getting your socks scared off at the same time. A lot of times foreign films are the envelope pushers, and these films push to the extreme. The nominees for this year's Best International Film are El Conde from Chile, Freaks versus the Reich from Italy, Godzilla -1 from Japan, Hermana Muerte, which is Sister Death, from Spain, The Life of Mariko in Kabuchiko from Japan, Love Will Tear Us Apart from Japan, Minore from Greece, and When Evil Lurks from Argentina. Eric, the winner is...
It's a 2-team race.
Woo! Is it an actual tie?
No.
Oh, not a tie.
No,
okay.
This is Godzilla -1 wins.
Okay.
But it had 41% of the vote. When Evil Lurks had 32% of the vote.
Okay.
Everything else came in with smaller numbers. I think El Conde came in with about 11%, and then there were occasional scattered ones around. But these were two important movies, and a lot of people saw them, and they were really good.
Yeah.
So
When Evil Lurks and Godzilla. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it isn't surprising that we had a couple of dominant movies in this group.
And you put Godzilla. Was that your number one film?
It's my number one movie of the year, and this is what I voted for.
All right. There you go. All right. So the flip side of this coin is those movies that crapped their pants and disappointed the most in 2023.
Our favorite award for some, but not for Ted Kagan.
That's right. We're careful to point out here that this isn't the worst. It actually is. It's both the worst and the most disappointing simultaneously. These are a couple of these movies do really suck, and we're here to point that out. And we don't mind telling you that they suck. The nominees for the 2023 Depends Award are Children of the Corn, Exorcist Believer, Five Nights at Freddy's, The Meg.
There it is again.
Nefarious. Oh, The Meg 2.
Yep.
Sorry, The Meg 2, The Trench. It could have been improved just by changing the title of the film. No need for a semicolon there. Nefarious, Pet Cemetery, semicolon, Bloodlines, Pig Killer, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Which was the worst film of the year, Eric?
The worst movie of the year, according to our jurors. Exorcist Believer says, "Hold my beer."
No,
it was.
They obviously didn't watch some of these other
They didn't see Pig Killer and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which I would have said were worse. But I think, this is. But okay, but if we
not great.
But when we tell people, say, what is the most disappointing?
Disappointing.
That the expectations for Exorcist Believer were reasonably high before we started getting some of the early buzz on it, and really, I think the movie held up for about a third.
I disagree with you in that I don't think the expectations were high. I think the expectations were really low because they were reshooting.
Yeah.
They were reshooting a bunch of stuff. There was a bunch of delays.
No, that's
in
what I'm
shooting.
saying. Is before the
David Gordon Green, was hot off of Halloween. So I think the expectations were not high. I think the expectations were really low.
I think it started high at the very beginning when they announced
just the fact that Ellen Burstyn's coming back
and
is a big deal.
And David Gordon Green, which was a mistake to bring Ellen Burstyn in the movie.
Yeah.
She didn't belong in the movie.
Yeah,
it was. And then they
I think it
killed
was.
her off in
I think it was a
terrible
great movie. I put it in my top 10 of the year. I do think it was really good. I didn't. I was not so plussed with the Super Friends exorcism at the end of the film.
Yeah.
The worst film of the year, far and away, was Children of the Corn. That movie.
Oh my God, that was bad. That was so bad.
Yeah.
That was so bad. But you haven't seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey either.
Right.
I thought
I liked Five Nights at Freddy's, so I don't think it should be here. I think it was cute.
I would say
I'm a Jason Statham fan, so the Meg 2 does not belong on this list. I was not disappointed.
Well, and I was gonna say that if I was disappointed by a film, the fact that Ben Wheatley did the Meg 2 and it had Jason Statham, that would be the disappointment, right? For me.
And he wasn't on mushrooms at any time during it. Ben
Right.
Wheatley, come on.
Yeah, because I think that could have as soon as I heard Ben Wheatley was attached to it, I thought, oh my God, this is something here.
No, Ben Wheatley was out of his element. I mean, he needs to stick to
He
folk
had to
horror.
pay the bills.
Yeah.
He will take what they managed to collect on the Meg 2 and take it to his little
It was a
indie
lot.
bank.
They got my money.
All right, Eric, what do you think? What was the worst film of the year, or the film?
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, okay.
Was the worst.
Yeah.
With the second place for me would have been Pig Killer, and third would have been Children of the Corn.
Jake Busey, come on.
Oh man, that was just one of the nastiest rape scenes in a movie that it's like total trigger warning.
Yeah.
And just awful.
Yuck.
Just
okay.
Anyways,
moving on
All
to
right.
something more positive.
Let's get back to the fun stuff.
Yes.
The Bloodbath Award, which is for the best use of exploitation or gore in a horror movie. And truthfully, last year, 2023, wasn't a particularly gory year in horror. It was still filled with intense scenes, just not as much blood and guts, with the exception of two movies, Evil Dead Rise and When Evil Lurks, which had enough hyper-violence to make up for the others. But here are our nominees. Cocaine Bear, when the bear climbs up the tree to tear Peter apart. Evil Dead Rise, a possessed Bridget swallows broken glass, and I can still hear it. The Exorcist Believer, Christmas Neal gets her eyes gouged out. Infinity Pool, the first execution. Saw X, Mateo's brain surgery trap. Talk to Me, Duckett's demise in the opening scene. Thanksgiving, Yulia lands on the table saw. And When Evil Lurks, Jimena is possessed and kills herself with an axe to the face. I think that sentence says it all. Eric, what's the winner?
This is Bridget swallowing broken glass in Evil Dead Rise. Oh, it was just so nasty. Yep. I think that just the groans in the audience, and there was like, "Don't do it!" And just like this just again the audio cues as well as
the audio was great.
Yeah, that was just now. I don't know if they did practical effects on that thing because it. Yeah. Oh man, how would you pull that off?
You can't, but everybody can imagine what it would be like. I think that's what makes it so horrifying. Also,
yeah, I can't exactly imagine an axe to my face.
An axe to the face, I can't. Yeah.
There was.
I'm sure it would hurt though.
Truthfully, I could have put 3 Evil Dead Rise nominations in here and 3 When Evil Lurks nominations in here. Last year, I had to go Terrifier 3 times because it just screamed for it.
Yeah.
But I managed to find
other
places.
Its own category.
Yeah, I managed to find other places to get some of the great scenes from Evil Dead Rise and When Evil Lurks later on in this nomination process.
Yep. All right. Moving on to great storytelling. Again, this is the best screenplay in 2023 horror. This is an encouraging trend in horror movies over the past decade is the fact that we have an emphasis on strong storytelling and dialogue. Horror can be very smart. Horror is better when it's smart. Just don't qualify horror scripting as elevated horror. We hate the term elevated horror, but there are some great scripts out there, including Alexander Anglis Wilson for Godless, the Eastfield Exorcism, Colin Cairns and Cameron Cairns for Late Night with the Devil, Mike Flanagan, Justina Ireland, Kylie Sanchez, and E.A. Poe for The Fall of the House of the Usher, Ted Gagan for Brooklyn 45, Ishiro Honda, Takeo Maruta, and Takashi Yamazaki for Godzilla -1, Dennis Paoli for Suitable Flesh, Danny Philippou, Bill Heinzman, and Daley Pearson for Talk to Me, and Bomani J. Story for The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. And the winner is Eric.
It is the crew from Fall of the House of Usher. This is Mike Flanagan, Justina Ireland, and Keely Sanchez, and E.A. Edgar Allan Poe.
That Edgar Allan Poe.
So they had a ringer.
Yeah, they did.
But this was this is what I voted for. They pulled in 35% just amount of the vote.
Okay.
Although there were some pretty good showing. I think Late Night with the Devil got 20% of the vote. But this Netflix, the Fall of the House of Usher, was so clever. It made me want to read Poe.
Yeah.
And I think my, some of my favorite moments from last year, and I didn't even, I got in late. I didn't see it until I started watching it in March of this year. And so I didn't, I know. See, you're the TV girl. You
I know.
You're the
and
one,
I told you.
I know.
Watch it.
And I did. And if you remember, I think I watched the final episode at your house during the Overlook Film Festival, where they did both The Raven and Cask of Amontillado. I was like, because you look at the titles and you go, oh, I see what they're doing. There's the Mask of the Red Death. There's the Black Cat. There's the Fall of House of Usher. But the one that I missed, like, where is Jingle the Bell Softly? Where's Cask of Amontillado? They have it.
Yeah,
they have it, and it's what's the way that they take the Poe's writings and make and they did it perfectly. It's like short stories in these 45 minute segments. Fantastic.
Liz, what did you vote for?
And I voted for Fall of the House of Usher.
Okay.
Mike Flanagan is a phenomenal writer. From his series, even the one I don't care for, Blind Manor, is still incredibly well written. He's a great writer with his team, and the way he was able to weave all those stories and make them contemporary and tie them all together was amazing.
There you go. All right.
A well-deserved win, in my opinion. Okay. All right. Now I get to present the nominees for the best monster from 2023, because there is just something about a great inhuman monster. It brings out the little kid in you as the monsters from your dreams come alive on screen. Big and stompy, Godzilla, or twisted and mutated, these beasties touched our imagination in 2023. Our nominees are The Boogeyman from The Boogeyman, Cokie the Bear, Count Dracula from The Last Voyage of the Demeter, the Frogman from Loveland, Ohio in Frogman, Godzilla in Godzilla -1, John Carver from Thanksgiving, the Pistache from It Lives Inside, the Tentacled Eye Creatures from Minore, and Valak from The Nun 2. Eric, who scared us the most? What monster scared us the most last year?
This is the big fella, Godzilla. Godzilla -1. He's done 50. This was his 53rd movie, and it is the best of the 53 movies.
There you go.
They did him better than they had since 1955.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the Elvira Award, also known as the Best Horror TV Series.
Also known as the Liz Williams Award.
The Liz Williams Award.
It's mine.
The trend of great horror TV content continued in 2023 as long format storytelling and horror made for great bedfellows. We had this year American Horror Story, Delicate Part 1 on FX. We had The Changeling on Apple Plus. We had Fall of the House of the Usher on Netflix. We had The Horror of Dolores Roach on Amazon. We had The Last of Us on HBO Max. We had Servant Season 4 on Apple Plus. We had Swarm on Amazon, and we had Yellow Jackets on Showtime. And the winner was
Not even close.
Woo!
This is the Fall of the House of Usher.
Interesting.
On Netflix.
Okay,
With
okay.
51% of the vote.
Wow. I liked Fall of the House of the Usher. I thought Swarm was way better. Way better.
I
way,
voted
way,
for
way
Swarm,
better.
but this was a Sophie's choice.
Yeah.
It was hard. And actually, the only series on this list I haven't seen is The Last of Us because I'm not interested in zombies.
Yeah.
And they're all really good. American Horror Story, that's one of those that you can take with a grain of salt. Ryan Murphy just goes over the top.
Yeah.
This one is probably the worst of all the seasons, but it was still a good time.
Yeah.
This is the Kardashian year.
Yeah.
She's in it, and she's not terrible.
Right.
Kim Kardashian does an all right job. The part is written for her, so she's just fine. But I had to pick Swarm.
I thought Servant just got too long, and it felt like the same episode over and over and over and over again. Great looking,
but I love
great
those
looking
characters,
show.
and I loved it looked so good.
Yeah,
Look
see.
great characters, really interesting idea, but it needed to be tightened up significantly.
Was this Servant's final year?
Yep.
Yes.
So
it's done.
Yeah, like there's some other ones that have in years past were real strong contenders, but they ceased or their quality has dropped. Like What We Do in the Shadows, I think was a big hit for a while, and then it kind of ground down a bit. But the thing is, it's actually more of a testament to how many good shows there are on TV that something like that didn't make it to the nomination list this year.
Yep.
But I also think the writing strike really affected it. So I think when we have the thingies that we record in 2025, talking about 2024, we'll have a big category for TV because a lot of things got pushed to this year.
Yep.
Now I get to present the nominees for the best horror moment of the year. You might recognize some of them here, and you don't have to be a great film to have a great moment. So remember that. These are the proverbial holy shit events that will have you talking to your friends about them later. And the moments for us in 2023 that fit that bill are from Cocaine Bear, the scene where the bear chases the ambulance. If you've seen it, you know it. Yeah. From Evil Dead Rise, when the kids figure out that Ellie is possessed. From The Fall of the House of Usher, when Roderick recites The Raven. From Godzilla -1, when Godzilla chases the boat. In Late Night with the Devil, when the exorcism gets real. In The Last of Us, the final days of Frank and Bill. In Talk to Me, when Riley gets possessed. The Black Friday Sale Massacre in Thanksgiving. And when the Mastiff dog takes Vicky in When Evil Lurks. Eric, which was the holy shit moment of last year?
This is Riley getting possessed in Talk to Me.
Oh, that's what I voted for.
Yeah, and this is this was, you could see it coming and you still couldn't prepare for it.
I would go with any of these.
Yep.
Any of these are great.
I voted for the Mastiff takes Vicky.
Yep.
That was a tough one.
That was pretty rough.
I was like,
little kids. Little kids are not safe.
Particularly if you love dogs, and then it was just like, the girl looks at the dog looks at the girl, and then
that movie, when that came, I was like, oh my God, are they going to do it? And I was like,
they did it.
Yes, they did it. All right.
Moving on to the Horseshoes and Hand Grenades Award, also known as the Best Horror Adjacent Film of 2023. One of the things we like to talk about often is this a horror movie or not? And the award, or the nominees for the award of the Horseshoe and Hand Grenades for 2023 are The Accused, which is a thriller, Cocaine Bear, which is a comedy, Haunting in Venice, which is an Agatha Christie mystery, Hundreds of Beavers, which is a comedy, Life in Mariko Kabuchiko, which is a mystery, Monolith, which is science fiction, Smoking Causes Coughing, which is an absurdist comedy, and Skinamarink, which, according to our poll here, is experimental art, which I think that's probably fair. Liminal horror.
Liminal horror.
Yeah. And
Liminal horror.
the winner was is.
This is where Cocaine Bear finally gets its due.
There you
Comedy.
go.
I think
you go.
I agree with Mike. This was good times at the movies, and just it was a silly premise, and I think a huge thing for Elizabeth Banks to break big as a director.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Although she's actually done quite a few other films as well.
Yeah, but this one gives her a big budget and first time within the genre.
Yeah. Because the other film that she had that came out this year was the film on Roe versus Wade. Yeah. I voted for
horrific.
Yeah, I know. I voted for Monolith, which Liz and I saw at South by Southwest. I still have not. I don't think it's out yet. I still is
Monolith.
Out. Yeah, it's out.
Is it? Oh, where can you see it? Do you know?
I believe it's on Amazon Prime.
You can see it on.
Okay.
I watched it before I posted this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can rent it on Prime for.
All right.
It's worth your $3.99.
Yep. Okay.
I voted for Skinamarink. All right. But on to our next category, which is the best horror short film. And as we talked about a little bit at the beginning, you can watch all of the nominated shorts on our website. So here are our nominees: 665, Evil Effing Clowns, Bassies, Getaway, In the Shadow of God, The Internet Remains Undefeated, The Jessica Cabin, Survivors, We Forgot About the Zombies, and We Got a Dog. Eric.
Well,
our audience think?
I think he's won this before, but Chris McElroy wins again with
What?
We Forgot About the Zombies. I forgot that this was Guts was the previous year. We forgot about the zombies.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
what I voted for.
He just keeps on coming up
same.
with super funny things, and it's these two guys stumble into a woodshed trying to run away from the zombies, and they see these things that are supposed to be vaccinations, but they're not, and they keep on. It's just wacky. You're going to have to watch it. I encourage everybody to go and watch all these movies because it's. You never know when the next Ari Aster's coming out of this group. I actually honestly think if someone smart in Hollywood gives Chris McElroy a chance to do his werewolf movie that he wants to do, he would do a great job. But he seems to be perfectly happy. He uses the same folks over and over again for his films, and as soon as it comes on, it's like, it's that guy and that
guy. Chris's films always put a smile on your face, too.
Yeah, they're always great. And he's got another one that's been released this year called We Joined a Cult.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of other great horror directors, these are the best horror directors for 2023. Chalk one up for Global Diversity Year this year. There's only 2 Americans that are on the list, and of those 2, one is a woman and one is African American. So 3 cheers for new, fresh faces. The best horror movie directors of 2023 are, we just talked about, Elizabeth Banks from Cocaine Bear, Cameron and Colin Cairns, who are indeed 2 people from Late Night with the Devil, Lee Cronin from Evil Dead Rise, Pablo Larraín from El Conde, Danny and Michael Philippou from Talk to Me, Damien Rugna from When Evil Lurks, Bomani J. Story from The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, and Takashi Yamazaki from Godzilla -1. And the best director of 2023 was
Cameron and Colin Cairns for Late Night with the Devil.
Nice.
This was a masterstroke in storytelling, and actually the going from front of stage to back of stage, and weaving in back the flashbacks. This was terrific movie craft at a tight budget, and it made a lot of buzz. This thing. There were a few of these things. I think that, and we'll be talking about more. Probably the other winners.
Yeah.
But this was. We'll look back at this year, and then I think Late Night with the Devil is going to go down as an all-time classic. And there are a couple of others, and we might be talking about some of these other winners.
And here's the other
Late Night with the Devil is going to be a Halloween tradition in a lot of horror households, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think the other thing about it that's so incredible is the story has never been told. It's never been told this way. It was fresh and original and as inventive as I've ever seen. and it pulled off 1970s television like just pitch perfectly.
The brown, orange, and yellow
Yep.
stripy sets.
Yep. For
All right.
sure.
Now I get to present the nominees for our best horror feature for independent or limited release film. And in the new golden era of horror cinema, it's been built upon the back of independent horror films. And with the streaming distribution models through platforms like Shudder, Amazon, and our best friend Tubi, that's the best way for people to see things that used to only be released at festivals. So your nominees for 2023 are The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, Cobweb, Frogman, Late Night with the Devil, Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls, Skinamarink, Suitable Flesh, Totally Killer, When Evil Lurks, and You'll Never Find Me. Eric, who is our winner?
This is a tough one.
Yeah, but apparently not for our audience.
Oh.
Late Night with the Devil by 40%.
There you go.
Again.
Yep. So
There
this
you go.
was, I think we talked plenty about it.
No shame there.
So that was a big release. I do think When Evil Lurks is another film that will go down as an all-time classic.
Oh, yeah.
Within these. And there's some, this was a fun year for
I just don't know. Okay, Late Night with the Devil, I want to watch it again every year at Halloween, get me in that autumnal spooky mood. I don't ever want to watch When Evil Lurks again.
No, that might be a one and done for sure.
It's a one and done. Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
Axe
Feel
to
bad
the
movie
face.
year.
Axe to the face.
All right,
Feel bad movie.
we're at the get your handkerchiefs out and get ready for a big cry
Champagne
because
toast.
we're at the end of the year. This end
of the award ceremony.
End of the
End of the
episode,
awards.
end of the year, end of the award ceremony. This is the best horror feature wide studio release. As we all know, the big studios are still players in the horror market, and some of them have borrowed lessons in storytelling from their independent brethren. Oh boy, have they ever. So, the nominees for the best 2023 wide studio release horror feature are Cocaine Bear, Evil Dead Rise, Godzilla -1, Knock at the Cabin, Megan, Renfield, Talk to Me, and Thanksgiving. And the winner is...
Drum roll, please. The winner is Talk to Me with 40% of the vote.
No shame there.
Yes,
Yay,
this is
No shame there.
24.
This is the other movie that will be remembered for a very long time.
Yep.
I think 2023 will benchmark a number of great films. I don't know that we're going to see that in so far this year, 2024. There's
I ain't
nothing.
seeing it.
Nothing's
I'm not seeing it so
hit that
far.
level. I think there's
Spoiler alert, 2024 sucks.
Oddity might go down.
Odyssey will get there, which
We'll
people get to see, I believe, in August. I saw the TV Glow will be on, probably nominated for some things next year. There's a couple that are hitting it, but I haven't seen one where I'm like 5 stars.
Yeah, nothing.
No.
Nothing like any of the big hitters, even things like Cocaine Bear, right, or Evil Dead Rise. There are some of the franchises like Evil Dead Rise and Godzilla -1,
And you know who we have to thank for this? AI. Thanks, AI, for putting the screws to Hollywood.
It's right.
Yeah, that's true.
And causing
Thanks, robots.
Thanks, robots.
All right, folks. So that ends our mid-season award ceremony. It's great to be either the first one out of the gate or the last one to close the door. And we get to cap off this award season. I'm calling it we're the last most important award ceremony.
Don't let that door hit you on the way out.
That's right.
Hooly Valley, Hooly Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking pan.
And any shop girl can be a top girl if she pleases the tired businessman.
Hooray for Hollywood!